Welcome back to the Awesome Agents podcast. Today we're doing something a little different, a straight up beginner's guide.
I like these episodes honestly. Not every listener wants a deep dive into a new architecture. Some just want to know what to install this weekend.
Exactly. So the topic is AI browser agents, Comet, Claude for Chrome, Gemini Auto Browse. What is actually going on with these things?
So, the simple way to think about it, a chatbot answers questions using training data. A browser agent is hooked into an actual browser window, and it can click, type, scroll, open tabs.
Right, it isn't just telling you about a hotel, it is going and checking the live price.
That is the whole shift. Same underlying model, but now it gets a loop. Look at the page, pick an action, take it, look again, repeat until the task is done.
Well, okay, so walk me through the options, because I know there are a few now.
3 real ones for a beginner. Perplexity Comet is a full browser with the agent built into a sidebar. It's free to download, though multi-step tasks like booking need the $20 a month pro plan.
And that one runs everywhere, right? Desktop and mobile.
Yeah, Mac, Windows, Android, iOS. Then there is Claude for Chrome, which is different. It's an extension, not a whole new browser.
So you keep your normal Chrome setup.
Right, and that matters for some people. It's Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise only, and Anthropic lets you set an allow list for which sites it's even allowed to touch.
That allow list thing seems like a smart safety feature, honestly.
It is. And then the third option is Chrome's own Gemini Auto Browse, which lives in a side panel if you already pay for Google AI Pro or Ultra. Pro is capped at 20 agent tasks a day.
Quick side note, whatever happened to ChatGPT Atlas? I remember that being a big launch.
OpenAI announced on July 9th that they're sunsetting it. It stops working August 9th. The agentic features are moving into the regular ChatGPT desktop app and a Chrome extension instead.
Interesting, so the standalone browser approach didn't stick for them.
Seems that way. Anyway, for someone starting from zero, the article's advice is pretty sensible. Install it, then start with something low stakes.
Like what, concretely?
Something like find 3 well-reviewed headphones under $200 and summarize the trade-offs. Nothing to lose if it gets it wrong.
And you're supposed to actually watch it work the first few times, not just walk away.
Yeah, stay at the keyboard. These agents will show what tabs they're opening, what they're clicking, so you can stop it if it wanders somewhere weird.
Okay, now here is the part I actually want to spend time on, the safety section. This is where it gets a little unsettling.
This is the part people skip and shouldn't. Giving an agent the ability to click and type for you also gives anyone who can plant text on a web page a way to talk to it.
Wait, say that again, that's a big claim.
It's called prompt injection. Hidden instructions sitting in a web page, an email, or a calendar invite. The model reads them the same way it reads your typed request, because to the model it is all just one stream of words.
And this actually happened, this isn't hypothetical.
No, in March 2026, security researchers at Zenity Labs found a real vulnerability in Comet. A booby-trapped Google Calendar invite could hijack the agent into reading local files and stealing 1Password credentials.
From accepting a calendar invite, that's truly scary.
That's the part that gets people. You did not click a sketchy link, you accepted a routine meeting request, and the agent did the rest on its own.
And no vendor has actually solved this yet.
No, Anthropic has published research on defenses, but OpenAI has flat out said the risk in their own browser agent is, quote, unlikely to ever be completely eliminated.
So what do you actually do about that as a regular user?
The practical rules are not complicated. Keep your password manager locked when you're not using it. Use the site allow list to keep the agent off banking and email until you trust it. And be extra careful with anything coming from a calendar invite or a document someone else sent you.
Basically treat it like handing house keys to a new contractor. Fine for supervised work, not for your most sensitive stuff on day one.
That's a good way to put it. And the article has a nice breakdown of what these things are and aren't good for. Research and comparison shopping, great. Managing your email inbox unsupervised, no, not yet.
I think that's the right framing to end on, honestly. These are truly useful tools, they just inherit whatever access your browser already has.
So scope them accordingly and build up trust gradually before you let one anywhere near a password.
Good place to leave it. Thanks for breaking that down, Maya, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.